Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Samuel Speaks from the Affirmative Talk Show. And today's topic in our video, I'm going to do a short video talking about the importance of understanding your child, coming from a father's point of view. And before we get in, I want you to just stay tuned and we're going to tap into this topic of conversation. What's going on, man? Let's get right in and let's tap in. First and foremost, understanding your child is so very important for me as a father and understanding my son, Samuel. He's a fourth generation Richardson, and I take that very seriously in understanding him. I feel from a father's perspective that no one knows more about my child better than me, and I'm the father. And I think that's so very important when you're talking about in forms of raising a young man. One of the things is that you need to, as fathers, that we should always set an example for them to follow. Make sure that we're creating routines for them because there's no other feeling or good um, visualization for your child to see that, you know what, man, I love what my dad does. I love what he do. I love what he constantly do with me, and I love how he move. And that can be in correlation of being a positive role model far as in your child's life. Encourage them from a father's perspective. It's so very important to encourage your child every chance you get. That's something I do with my son, especially when I'm homeschooling him on a constant basis every day. I mean, literally 7 days a week, no days off. It's not strenuous for me. And then definitely I do it in such a way from a learning perspective where it doesn't feel like it's very strenuous for my son. And he loves learning. But a lot of that comes in because I'm very hands-on. And I took on that challenge because from a father perspective, I want my child to be well equipped. I want my child to be able to speak properly. I want my child to have that self-confidence in himself. In other words, I speak positive affirmations over his life, but I want him to actually be the affirmations. And that's something that is very important for me as a father and as a black man to be very involved in being a positive father figure for him. It's very important from a father's point of view is to teach them the importance of working hard. And that's one thing I tell my son constantly as we're going through different lessons through the backup program is that sometimes it's okay if he don't know the answer, but try. Even if you feel that you have to guess, but guess what? It's not really guessing, is that you're trying. Whatever you feel that you think it is, I don't want you to hesitate. I want you to put it out there and believe in it. And it's okay if you understand that the importance of the lesson is to learn from your mistakes, to learn from your wrongs. But you're doing that, and the only way to do that is by putting in the work. Another thing as a father is to help guide them through tough decisions. That is so very important because I want to be able to instill in my son the importance of creating solutions. And when you can create solutions for other people, guess what? That seed that you're planting is going to sow. And when you are sowing good seeds of creating solutions, you're going to reap what you sow. Let them know that you're always there for them. That is very important from a father perspective. And that's something that I take and cherish tremendously, is constantly letting my son know that no matter what you're going through, I'm going to always be your number one supporter. I'm always going to be your number one fan. And I believe that's why he smiles so much. That's why he is so happy all the time, because I'm teaching him the things that I want him to always feel and know, that no matter what, you're going to always be there for them. Now, another important step is to spend time with them doing the things that they love. This is why, me and my wife, we've talked about constantly importance of doing certain field trips, whether it's going to a museum, whether it's going to the zoo, whether it's going to the movies, going to the jumping zone, whether it's going to the park, whether it's going swimming, whether it's soccer. you know, these things are so very important that we take the time out to do something that they love. Because let me tell you this, it's not about always your child doing what you want them to do, but you want them to be able to have the time to do what they want to do and do what makes them feel good, right? If you agree with that, put a like on this and comment with me, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel at Samuel Speaks. Last but not least, the last thing I want to talk about is show that you love and care for them. Show that. That is so very important, is to show that on a consistent basis. And I take the time out every single day to do that. Sometimes, man, it is so beautiful, and it's a sight to see every time with my son. He always takes the time out to tell me that, "And Daddy, I love you." Or he'll kiss me on the cheek, and he'll just give me a big hug. And that's rewarding to me, because I'm so glad to marry such a beautiful woman, inside and out, my wife TT, and giving me an opportunity to be able to allow us to create something so beautiful. And not only that, to give him my last name, and to give him my whole name, because he's a fourth generation Richardson, but also to instill in him that I care for him. I'm there for you, not just from a financial stability perspective, but I'm there for you mentally, emotionally, and physically, because I want him to be the best version of himself constantly, making sure that he's active, making sure that he plays outside, making sure that he is mentally capable of handling the lessons in the backup program. Because let me tell you something, as a father, when I was watching my son, it's something that I took hold and took it as a challenge, because I saw some of the deficiencies that he had. Now, even though he's still young, but I felt in my heart that he should be further along. And, with our son, he was going through several therapy sessions, occupational therapy, physical therapy, just working on his motor skills, his balance, things of that nature. But he actually went through speech therapy, where he actually had to go through and get a test done, because we as parents, we want to make sure that our child you know doesn't have any deficiency that could be delaying his capabilities of learning. But he passed it. And I know it was a particular situation when we took him to speech therapy, where there was a specific type of skill set that the doctor had wanted him to do. And I know my son, right? And I know him like no other. And I felt from it, and I'm naturally a teacher, right? So, when the doctor was going through, to me, he did not really explain thoroughly on what the tasks that my son needed to do in order to pass the actual learning task at hand. So what I told, I had some couple of questions for the doctor, but then, when my son was with the mother, I took on that challenge, and I said to TT, I said, well, let me talk to him. let me talk to him, because I'm just a natural teacher. And I was communicating in depth, hands on with my son in that moment, because he was actually passing the hearing test, because we wanted to make sure that there was no hearing loss. So when I was telling him, I was showing the doctor is that you have to sometimes, every child is different. Every child learns different. Every child comprehends in a different way. But one thing about it, with every child, you need to have patience and you need to have understanding. So when I took the time to actually communicate with my sons properly and was there and was rooting him, he ended up passing and didn't have any deficiency from his hearing. And I tell you that story that is so very important, is to show up as a father. Show up and be involved in your child's life, because it is so very important, because your child needs you. They need you, man, as a father. And, one thing I'll say, and I'll keep saying it, is that there are great mothers, but guess what? A mother can never replace an active father. Take care and be blessed. Make sure you go over to my YouTube channel, Samuel Speaks, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that way you can be notified on new videos that I'll be uploading. Take care and always be blessed.